Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Social Squirrel Show. I'm your host, Bex, and today I have a very special guest with me. Her name is Cara, and she is one of my best friends from college. We were roommates. We gone through a lot together, and I'm so excited to have her on my episode today. But before we jump right into it, as you know, we start with a quote. So I'm going to share my quote and then I'll have Cara share hers and we'll get to know Cara a little bit. But the quote that I have for you today is there is not a single soul on the face of the planet Earth more powerful than a focused entrepreneur with a vision. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, you know that drive to succeed. And once you have that drive, it's just full force. And I'm so excited to have Cara, who has just launched her health business on my podcast, because this is the show where business owners and entrepreneurs unite and we talk about our struggles, we talk about the highs, the lows, and what we're up to on our journeys. And I'm really excited to have Cara here talking about her new business and being the homeopathic helper on Instagram. And we're going to jump right into today's episode. So, Cara, take it away. Tell us a little bit about the homeopathic helper, how you got started doing this, your background, your journey, and where you hope to go.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to see you, even virtually, face to face. So I am a board certified holistic health practitioner. My goal is basically to just help people heal because I myself went through a few health issues and my doctor really could never tell me what I needed to know to feel better. It would always be the same thing, basically blanket statements like, are you eating? Are you sleeping? Are you hydrating? Maybe take this pill. Never really helped. So years ago, I took it in my own hands and I started diving down the holistic, naturopathic, homeopathic world. And I have learned so much. I believe I've healed a lot of my ailments, and any new ailments that come up, I see it as a challenge to learn more and see how I can understand the body and root causes on a deeper level. So I started my business about a year ago. I was thinking about it and never really took the plunge to just do it. My husband and my mom were the most supportive. I was an English teacher and it was very unfulfilling. So I was always diving into seeing new health things, new trends, trying to understand like what a supplement would really do and toxicities and deficiencies. So they kind of directed me to become a health practitioner to help people because I was kind of the person that all my friends came to and they're like, Cara, what do you think about this? Or I have this issue. Yes, you included. Thank you for trusting in me early on. Um, so I see it kind of like as a puzzle. And sadly, I don't believe many doctors see it that way. So let me preface it with I respect doctors, surgeons immensely. They do a lot of things that I don't believe I'll ever be able to do. I'm still very squeamish with blood needles. I don't think I could do that. But sadly, the curriculum it doesn't really tell you what you need to know about how the body works, how toxicities work, how deficiencies work. So that's where I come in. And I want to actually get down to the root cause, the root reason why you're sick and why you have these symptoms. Because in my world, a symptom isn't something you just are supposed to slap a band aid or a pill onto. It's telling you something, it's a cry for help. And sadly, in the Western world, all we do is take a pill for it to kind of ignore it, to kind of push it away. And then what typically happens is it winds up either causing a bigger issue or it creates a whole nother issue. So then now you have two issues instead of one. So Over the past year, I took a few courses with Dr. Stephen Cabral's Integrative Health Practitioner Institute. So, with these certifications, I am very happy and proud to say that I am versed in orthomolecular medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, functional medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, traditional naturopathy, bioregulatory medicine, and Eastern philosophy.
Wow.
So,
I had no idea there were so
yeah,
many different kinds. Here I'm thinking it all just falls under one thing. Wow, there's a lot. A lot.
yeah. So it's all throughout the world, there's different branches, different beliefs, different um, traditions of how people heal. And this goes far back, way longer than what we know as medicine to be today. So, can I actually bounce to one of my fun facts because it kind of relates to all this right now?
Yeah.
So, one of my fun facts deals with Rockefeller and John D. Rockefeller. So, like I was saying, modern medicine, it's rooted in, okay, so there's allopathic and there's holistic. Traditionally, what we know is allopathic. It basically sees a symptom. It wants to just give you a pill to ignore the symptom. And then things kind of start spiraling from there. But holistic, it sees the symptom. It tries to understand what's really going on to get to the root cause to really heal you. So the symptom truly goes away. It's not just ignored. So, basically, in 1872, Rockefeller, he bought up, shut down, and bankrupt 90% of the oil companies. Later on in 1911, the Supreme Court found him in violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act, which split Standard Oil. So basically, he couldn't monopolize. But since he was a business owner, he found a way to turn petrochemicals, the oil, into pharmaceuticals, what we now take today as medicine.
Oh, that's
So
lovely. We're just putting
yes, yes,
oil in our
it's
bodies essentially.
yes, that's exactly what it is. It's in a lot more than we even realize because we're not taught about it. But after he was trying to create pharmaceuticals, his biggest threat was natural health, which is all anybody knew. So after that, he throws money at the medical schools. He hires a man named Flexner to study the curriculum. And then Flexner basically persuades the government to establish allopathic medicine to use unnatural substances to treat diseases. So basically, what I'm saying is prior to Rockefeller, prior to this big business that is medicine in this Western world, everybody used herbs. Everybody used what was natural, found from earth, and people valued that truly. But today, sadly, we hear somebody who uses herbs to heal themselves, and we think it's woo woo.
Yeah, I think it's
It's what
crazy.
medicine has always been. So,
But I can honestly say they really, really do work. And I want to talk about oregano oil because I swear by that. Like, if I'm getting sick, if my gut is off, like oregano oil is like has been a lifesaver for me. And actually, one of my team members, she had like an infection in her mouth, and the doctor wouldn't give her more antibiotics because he wanted her to have an oral surgery instead, probably because he makes more money off of oral surgery. And she was like, I'm not doing that. So I was like, you know what? I was like, here, go get this oregano oil and also colloidal silver. And I was
mhm.
like, you'll probably start to feel a lot better. It might take a bit more time, but be consistent with it. And I'm sure like you'll start to feel better. She texted me the next day. She's like, oh my God. She's like, I already notice a difference. She's like, I already, like, it's already making me feel better. And I'm not even kidding. Like, I, I mean, you know, all the health issues I have, you know, my autoimmune disease, my gut, like, it's a disaster in my body. But and it was showing on my skin for a while when I was living in Florida, probably also living in mold in Florida, which I'm fully convinced I was, which is probably also setting my immune system off. But I started taking oregano oil about like 2 weeks ago again because I was like doing research and I was like, oh, that's right. You know, like I used to take this when I would feel like garbage and it would really help. And let me tell you, it like it's been clearing up my skin like crazy. Like my breakouts are like going away. I was like, "Oh my God, this is like the holy grail. I love this." And I've done so many different protocols, the candida stuff, the SIBO stuff, like, and it's just like all of that stuff, like even when I was on those medications, like I still felt like garbage. And I was like, what am I even like really consuming? And it really didn't do much because the stuff came back anyway, like multiple times. So it's like you can't really be on those drugs for endless amounts of time because then they start to become resistant, and that's what we're also dealing with is like this drug
Yes.
resistance thing. So, talk a little bit about like what kind of herbs and like protocols do you like to do? Like what are your kind of go-tos?
So it's funny because I love oregano oil as well. It's a powerful antimicrobial. Anytime I get sick, that is an antibiotic in itself.
It is.
So,
Yeah.
except it doesn't necessarily wipe out all the bacteria in your gut. It just attacks the bad ones per se. It doesn't wreck your gut like antibiotics does.
Mhm.
Um, so I love oregano oil. Personally, in my house, I've been making fire cider for a few years now, and my mom runs to that. Whenever she starts to feel like she might get sick, she likes to take a little shot of that. But we're trying to push more towards like salad dressing because the vinegar is a little too rough on the esophagus and the stomach, but plus and minus all that. So another thing that I realized myself is some people are kind of skeptical of it, but I know that it's pretty big on TikTok and it blew up within the past 4 years. Parasite cleanses. I have personally had great success with parasite cleanses. And it is true, you can't just trust any company, any supplement that you see on social media. But I have a company that I've been working with for the past 2 years. I've never had a bad reaction with it. In fact, it's my go-to. I travel with it. I travel with Cellcore's Power One and the biotoxin binder. I do not want to be without that. The binder, it is so important. And that's what a lot of people also don't realize when you're doing cleanses. Even if you're taking oregano oil, you could be taking that and you can kind of have some die off symptoms, which you
Oh,
would feel more sick.
I've experienced bad, they're called the irksomer reactions, right?
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
experienced really bad ones before where I thought I was like, my body is literally like, I need to go to the hospital. Like, what the heck is
Yeah.
going on? Yeah. And then usually, like, I mean, before I had the cell core one, now usually I would take like charcoal or like the diatomaceous earth. But even
Mm.
that, like, then I felt like it made a difference, but I also felt like it kind of just like made me just feel very just like bloated, like nothing was like going through, like it absorbed everything. So
Yeah.
those two are really harsh, but I know the cell core one is like more systemic and it's not, doesn't seem as harsh to me. So I'm excited for my parasite cleanse coming
Yes.
up. I'm also a little scared, but yeah, I let's talk about parasite cleanses actually. Like, because I've been seeing them all over TikTok too. These people are like promoting these like random supplements on the TikTok shop. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, where
Yeah.
is your certification to talk about this? And do you even know what you're promoting? Because,
Yeah. So a lot of people want to make a quick buck with all this because it is trendy. And that's the sad part about this kind of world. It's people jump on whatever's trendy because they hear someone did this or took this and it gave them relief. But again, if you're not working with a practitioner, you probably won't be healing your root issue, and it could show up as other issues, kind of like, if you were to take oregano oil and get a Herxheimer reaction, you won't really be fixing anything because things are going on in your body and it's not really being eliminated. So what Cellcore has taught me is that there is kind of a funnel per se, with drainage. So you need to make sure that you are essentially getting everything out of your body. Um, so the very, very bottom starts with the colon. You need to make sure that you're having bowel movements and you're peeing and you're getting everything out. And it also has to deal with liver function. So our livers get highly taxed. But I'm not going to go into that right now. You asked about the parasite cleanses. So yes, so a lot of people would use something like charcoal or diatomaceous earth. And like you said, it that only winds up binding in the gut. It does not go anywhere else in the body,
Mhm.
where parasites can be anywhere. They don't have to just be in the gut. They can be in the blood, in the liver, in the gallbladder, even in the brain, which is the scary part of all of this. But if the blood brain barrier is broken from too many toxicities and issues, then that's how that happens. But cell cores, I am affiliated with Cellcore, but I'm not trying to sell you on Cellcore right now. I'm just speaking from my knowledge. They are systemic and they have four binders, and there's kind of a level to each binder. The biotoxin binder is the first, but it really binds to so many things that you don't even think of, like VOCs, glyphosate,
Mhm.
toxins, anything you can think of, it will bind in the body. And if your drainage pathways are open, it will eliminate properly, which is what we really, really want and need. So I have been doing countless parasite cleanses. I did one last month and I'm doing one next month. It is 3 days for beginners around the full moon because the parasites, they kind of wake up around the full moon. So they say your serotonin levels rise during the full moon, where your melatonin should be higher, your serotonin, and they feed off of the serotonin. So that's why around the full moon, people can act crazy or have issues sleeping or experience more gastrointestinal issues. And it could be an indicator that it's a parasite issue. And it's kind of gross to think that we have parasites in us. But truth be told, if you breathe, if you walk, if you eat, and if you drink, you probably have a parasite. We just need to get our bodies in balance so that our bodies can kind of kick down the parasites or eliminate them instead of having them take over in our body.
Gotcha. I know. Would you say that like sometimes parasites are beneficial in a way because they feed off of these like toxicities that like end up in our body, like from the environment, from things we eat, from the sprays they use, the parasites almost like absorb that, and that's why they stay in our bodies because we have such toxic environments.
Um, yes, they stay in our bodies because of the toxins. The toxins feed them, but they basically strip our bodies of what we need, such as like minerals and vitamins. They feed off of that as well. So having them in you, it's not something that's good. It's parasite cleanses, if you do a few, you're not going to eliminate every single one of them. Like it's basically like you live with them, but you need to keep them in kind of like a balance. But they definitely feed off of the things that we need and off of the things that even something as simple as stress already depletes vitamins and minerals.
Mhm.
So to get them in balance would help your body at balancing the vitamins and minerals that you need to function and have proper mitochondrial health and synapses and everything like that. So
Yeah, yeah. I think I picked up some parasites when I was in Mexico in January.
that's
They
well known.
I was extremely sick when I came back, and I went to urgent care and they tested me for COVID. They tested me for pneumonia, and they were like, "Well, it's none of those." And I was like, "Well, I got bit by mosquitoes. Do you think it could be a mosquito-borne illness?" And they were like, "Well, like if you start bleeding from your eyeballs or whatever, then you should go to the emergency room so they can test you for mosquito-borne illnesses." And I'm like,
Yeah, let's wait for that.
great. So you don't do the testing here, and I automatically have to go to the emergency room, pay $20,000 to go get mosquito testing. Okay, awesome. So I
Mhm.
remember coming back from Mexico, and when I was in Mexico, I mean, the resort would give us like little glass jars of water, but like you drink like 2 liters of water a day. These like little bottles aren't going to last. And I was using it for
Yeah.
other things. So I'm brushing my teeth with the water. And I'm thinking, well, this is like a 5-star resort. I'm like, I'm sure the water is fine. So I was drinking the tap water out of the sink
Oh
because I'm
no.
like, I'm
No.
thirsty.
Out of the
I don't know
sink?
where else to get water.
Oh.
Like, I'm just going to use the tap water. Well, yeah, I came back the day I left for Mexico. I started feeling like weird. Like I thought it was just going to be a sinus infection. I thought it was my sinusitis acting up. And I was like, the next day, like I remember laying in bed and I kid you not, my entire body ached. Like I was in so much pain. I couldn't lay there. Like my bones, like it literally felt like there was like I had like arthritis, like a 90-year-old or something. Like my bones ached. I couldn't walk. I literally ended up walking myself to urgent care in Florida in 90-degree weather like an idiot, but whatever. So I walked
Oh.
to urgent care and I just remember how badly it hurts. And I just felt so confused. And I was like, I'm literally going to die on the side of the road. Like, I'm going to die. And someone's going to find me and bring me to the hospital. Like, I had so much health issues going on. And I like could not figure out what they ended up giving me at urgent care was like a Z pack. And I took like
Oh.
two of the Z packs. And I mean, I started to feel better. And then I was like, I can't, I feel like this is damaging my gut. So then I just stopped taking the Z packs and I forget what I think I took some herbs after that. Like I wasn't sure if it was like the candida acting up or something, but
Mm.
I remember coming back from Mexico, I was so sick and it probably was parasites, honestly. So
Yeah.
probably still
Yeah.
why I have like issues with that. Um but yeah, I mean, so we're almost out of time here, but I do want to ask, you had mentioned like around the full moon they like act up. Like why is that? Because I know that I notice like symptoms, like really bad GI symptoms around certain times
Mhm.
during the month and I was like, is this hormonal? And then when you brought up parasites, because you were like, oh, it's parasite cleanse time and it's like a full moon, and I'm like, wait, I'm literally like having the worst GI issues right now. I was like, I bet you that is because of the freaking parasites and the full moon. So what is the deal with that? Like, I mean, I know you said that they feed off serotonin. So if someone's
Yeah.
taking a serotonin supplement, would they also be like make like basically feeding the parasites and making it worse, or like why do they feed off serotonin?
That could be the case. I'm not 100% sure why they feed off of serotonin, but like I said, they feed off of vitamins, minerals, even something like iron. They feed off of iron. So if, you're only cooking on cast iron and you have like iron in your water, you could be having more symptoms that reflect parasitic symptoms because you're basically feeding them instead of killing them. Um, yeah, I should look into that, why they feed off of serotonin, but I think it's just kind of like why we need like healthy fats and vegetables and vitamins. It's what they feed off of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So have you done like have you helped any recent clients during this past parasite cleanse time? Like what's your process with that?
Okay, so I don't like to throw them in to the cleanses. I like to make sure that their bodies work with the supplements because Cellcore it's very effective. I'll say that. I knew of someone, she wasn't my client. She did one cleanse and she was seeing worms come out and she was so nauseous. And once she saw the worms come out, the nausea went away. So it's kind of like you trigger them, you feel weird, and then you see worms and then you feel fine. It's kind of adding up that, oh, maybe it was parasites all this time. And once you go down this tunnel, there's a lot to be learned about this. Some people say that that could be what cancer is, parasites taking over in the body.
Huh.
Because if it's stripping you of everything that you need to survive and for your mitochondria to function, isn't that technically what cancer is? Your body's shutting down, can't function. So it's really interesting. So obviously I love what I do. So
Yeah, it is all interesting stuff. I mean, they say all disease starts in the gut. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I know my gut is super inflamed, and my doctor, the autoimmune doctor or whatever, he truly believes that, if we can get the inflammation down, then we can lower the autoimmunity and I'll probably start to feel better. So, just waiting for that. But I guess in terms of, parasites and everything and all these other, gut stuff, like what kind of foods should people be eating? Like what helps kind of keep them in balance, get rid of them? What should people eat and avoid during if they're doing a parasite cleanse?
So it's funny because you mentioned how you were having a pumpkin seed pill or protein, right?
Oh yeah, so well, I was eating just like the full pumpkin seeds back
Mhm.
actually last month during the full moon time, and I was like, my body does not like these. I mean, I already have a hard time digesting, seeds and shells, and because I have like IBS and IBD
Mhm.
or whatever, so I already have like colitis and issues, and my body doesn't break down stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm already having like issues with these pumpkin seeds. I can't digest them, so I do have this pumpkin seed protein powder I've been taking and it's honestly been amazing. I love the taste of it. It only has ground pumpkin seed in it and
Okay.
like it's ground into a powder and I can tolerate it. So I absolutely love it. But I know pumpkin seeds, right? That's one of the
Mhm.
things parasites don't like.
Yes, yes, they are highly anti-parasitic as well as garlic and basically whole foods. If you eat pure whole foods, tend to be organic, so it doesn't have any pesticides on it. But what feeds them is basically what people live on these days: sugary sweets, artificial things, overly processed things, bread, jams, anything that you would think is like, oh, that probably isn't good for me, that feeds them. But anything that people know is like, oh, healthy, like whole foods, vegetables, minimally processed foods, that kills them basically. So when you're doing a cleanse, you do want to watch what you eat. Um, and I will admit that I'm not always the best with that, but I will say that there is still hope because even if you aren't watching 100% what you eat, you can feel the change and feel the difference after doing a cleanse. So, but I will recommend following the good diet. I will be posting about that because the next cleanse is December 14th, 15th, and 16th. So the full moon, I believe, is on the 15th. So,
All right. Well, I'm excited to see if I feel better after this cleanse. I'm also a little nervous because if I see a freaking worm in the that's why I'm gonna kind of die, but I'm gonna be texting you pictures like, Carol, what the heck is this? But you also have a dietitian on your team as well, or a nutritionist you had mentioned. So if someone wants to work with you guys, where can they do that? How can they get in contact with you and the nutritionist, dietitian that you work with to help somebody heal on their journey?
we are virtual. She is a registered dietitian. She's been in the business for 30 years or so. You can find us either on social media, homeopathic underscore helper, on Instagram, Facebook. I have a Facebook page. I'm really not that active with it yet. I just got into TikTok, still learning that. But my website, www.homeopathic-helper.net. You can sign up there. I have a calendar on there. I have everything that explains what I can do and how you can contact me on the website.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna put those in the show notes for people if they want to go on your website, contact you on Instagram. I'm assuming you also have an email that people can also email you, but I'm assuming your website is kind of the best spot. You have like a contact form and stuff on there,
Yes.
right? Awesome. Okay, so yeah, I will put that in the show notes for everybody. And I did forget that in the beginning we were supposed to have your quote. So let's say it at the end. What is your quote?
Okay, my quote is from Bob Proctor. He's an author. Change is constant and inevitable, but personal growth is a choice.
I
So
love that.
yeah. So everybody wants to grow, everybody wants to do better, but at the end of the day, you can't stop change from coming. Either you're going to have a negative change or a positive change, but that is up to you and your choice. So you have a lot more power than you believe instead of just giving into I'm old and I can't function and my arms, I can't do a push up anymore because I'm 65. 70-year-olds can do push ups. They can do it. So it's up
Yeah,
to you.
the mind is powerful. And honestly, we
It
could have
is.
a whole other episode on, the mind and all the things that, you can do to really manifest your life, basically. You really can do anything, but we're almost out of time, unfortunately. But it was so great having you on and seeing you again. It's been so long. I am so excited to help you and support you in any way I can with your journey as well. You can always reach out to me on social or with text if you need any social media support or marketing. But it was so
Thank you.
fun having you on, and I hope everyone found so much value out of this and opened your eyes to other aspects in the health world, because I feel like so many people are just so straightforward. They don't understand these
Yeah.
other things exist. So I think it's really important to kind of spread the message. I mean, I feel like our generation is kind of doing that and pushing the
Yeah.
health in a different direction. But yeah, thank you so much, Cara. It
Thank
was
you
so
for
great
having me.
having you. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a 5-star rating and share it with your friends and family. And I'll catch you in the next one.